Well, hello and welcome back to another Blue Yonder video. Today I'm at what was formerly RAF Hemswell Cliff, and we're going to take a ride to the International Bomber Command Centre at Lincoln. We're going to take the Ridge Road via Scampton. Should be a really good ride, and the museum, the Heritage Centre, promises to be really interesting. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, come and join me. Let's go. Well, as you can see, today I'm on the V85TT Moto Guzzi, and as regular viewers will know, I have a kind of love-hate relationship with this bike. But for this sort of winter ride, slightly iffy conditions, you know, wet patches on the road, pretty chilly, the weather protection and the very good heated grips come into their own. So of the three bikes that were in the garage, the V85 wins out. It certainly wins out over the V100 and definitely over the Trident, which has no weather protection and it doesn't have heated grips, which in the UK at this time of year are an essential. Scooterist. Now just down here on the left hand side is another Heritage Centre which looks quite interesting, and I think it's going to have to be one that I visit another time. RAF Hingham Heritage Centre. Looks interesting, but it seems permanently closed. Now we're just going through the village of Hingham. Next stop will be Scampton. Now Lincolnshire is absolutely littered with former Bomber Command air bases. In World War II there were 27 active Bomber Command stations in Lincolnshire, and that's how it earned the nickname Bomber County. And we've got, I think it's East Kirby it's called, Heritage Centre, Aviation Heritage Centre, and they've actually got a Lancaster that they bring out and taxi around. It's not airworthy enough to actually take off, but they do bring it out and fire up the engines and taxi it out, which is really interesting. So we are now coming into Scampton village. Scampton, RAF Scampton, of course, famous for being the base for 617 Squadron, the Dambusters. Let's have a quick look at the churchyard, because there are, I think, some Commonwealth war graves here. Have a quick look. I have to say, they do keep it in immaculate condition. Even more graves of the fallen here. The attrition rate for Bomber Command was absolutely horrendous. They had the highest rate of attrition of any Allied service during World War II. What a beautiful church though. I'm sure there's a load of history attached to this church. Just a pity we won't have time to actually have a really good look round. Let's have a quick look inside. Flag of the RAF. RAF Scampton was the birthplace of 617 Dambusters Squadron. This window was designed by Claire Williamson and is a tribute to the dedication, skill and sacrifice shown by those who served in the squadron and with Bomber Command there. The window is also a memory of 561 personnel lost from the station during World War II, so it's not just the air crew who gave their lives, the ground crew did too. Estimated 1,600 people lost their lives as a result of chastise. Yes, we must not lose track of the fact that a lot of civilians died as a result of this. Really brings it home to you when you can see the graves of the guys who gave their lives, and they're all so young. Sort of the people we've just seen there, their graves, 21 years old. The average age was 23. Yes, when you go around those graveyards, it really brings it home to you, doesn't it? The bravery of these guys. You know, they would strap themselves into those Lancasters night after night in the knowledge that the odds were against them that they would come home, or if they did come home, they might be seriously burned, wounded, whatever, and yet they did it night after night. That is unbelievable courage. And as I say, you can argue about the morality, particularly towards the end of the war, of some of the raids and the strategy from Bomber Harris of area bombing, carpet bombing, but you can't argue against the courage of those guys, those young men. Anyway, so that was that's the very nice Scampton. Now, a lot of you viewers will know there's been a lot of controversy recently about Scampton base. It was going to be used for temporary accommodation, shall we say, for illegal migrants who cross the channel in their small boats, but the locals put up quite a fight to stop that. Over here on the left is Scampton airfield. Just see the edge of it there. No longer used as an airbase, it closed a while ago. And this is of course where 617 Squadron were based and flew from. Interestingly, in the film The Dambusters, they used Hemswell Cliff, where we started from, where we started the ride from. That stood in for Scampton in the film. Nice little nugget for you there. Again, you can see the edge of the field there, the edge of the airfield. It's a heck of a big base. Heck of a big base. It's only closed relatively recently. I'll put up on the screen its date. There we have the Lincolnshire Showground. I won't take you through the centre of Lincoln today, it will be far too busy. Save that one for the summer, I think. Okay, so we're approaching the Bomber Command, International Bomber Command Centre, Heritage Centre. Let's go and have a look. Well, the car parking, etc. isn't exactly biker friendly, is it? I know it says coach parking, but I don't care. This is where the bike is going to go, like it or not. So something that's worth noting, admission, if you want to go around the exhibition, unfortunately I won't have time today because the sun's going down and I don't want to ride home in the cold and the dark, but admission is £10.50. If you want to go around the Peace Gardens and look at the spire, which we have here, admission is free. So here we have a really good sculpture called The Return. Excuse my shadow, hopefully you can see. So here we are, it says people from over 60 nations, because there were men and women of course, served in Bomber Command during the war. Volunteers sailed to and from aircrew training centres around the globe to fly with the RAF. These gardens mark the contribution of the men and women from around the world. Absolutely. Well, the spire in the background does look inspiring, doesn't it? And hopefully when we go over there we'll have a really good view, a good shot over to Lincoln and the cathedral on the hill in the distance. And that was probably the first and last thing that an awful lot of those crew saw when they were taking off on their missions. So let's go over there and have a look. Now behind me you'll see a number of trees. There are 27 trees, and the 27 is significant because that marks 27 air bases in Lincolnshire. And at the foot, we'll just have a look at this one here, it tells you the name of the air base and the squadrons that serve there. So this is to commemorate RAF Grimsby, Waltham, and 142, 100 and 550 squadrons serve there. And there you can see the losses, 848. Behind me are the plinths that contain the names of the squadrons and the service personnel who didn't make it home. Let's have a quick look at those, shall we? Memorial Sunday for the 11th of November armistice was fairly recent, so people have still left their poppies in there, presumably relatives of these guys. Reg Hutchinson. 55,000 losses. The rate of attrition, as I said earlier, was horrendous. It was like 44%, I think, of the total strength was lost throughout the war. As I say, these guys knew they were going into the jaws of death, but they just did it. It was a job, they got on with it, and in typical British fashion, they made no fuss about it. There was no gung-ho-ness, no bravado. It's just a case of, we've got a job to do, let's go and do it. Behind me is the memorial board for Operation Manna, Manna from Heaven, which commemorates the food drops from the Allied Air Forces, USAF and RAF in April 1945 to alleviate the horrendous famine that the Dutch civilians were suffering. At that point it had been a really freezing cold winter in 1944-45, and as I say, the civilians were starving. There was lots of deaths. I'll put on the screen how many people died. I think it was 50,000 civilians died through famine. And this operation, this humanitarian operation, this board commemorates that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little ride out to the International Bomber Command Centre in Lincoln. If you have, please remember, give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it if you did. And remember, until the next time, please keep it shiny side up. I'll speak to you again soon. Storm Dara is on his way, and we want to get home before that hits. And I almost forgot to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. Okay, catch you again soon.